What if everything you knew about fitness motivation was wrong? Modern gym culture tells you to chase aesthetics, to count macros, to post progress photos, to chase likes. But over 2,000 years ago, the greatest minds in human history had a completely different relationship with physical strength. And their philosophy will fundamentally change how you approach every single workout. These men didn't train to look good. They trained to become unbreakable. And today, we're going to unlock their secrets. Welcome to Stoic Athlete, where ancient wisdom meets modern fitness. Today, we're diving deep into how the greatest philosophers in history, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, Plato, and Socrates, approached physical strength, not just as exercise, but as a fundamental practice of building character, mental resilience, and virtue. Because here's the truth. These men understood something most gym goers will never grasp. The body and the mind are not separate. They are one. And training one means training the other. Let's begin. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, commander of the most powerful army in the known world, Stoic philosopher, and one of the most disciplined athletes of his era. Marcus Aurelius believed that physical discipline was inseparable from mental strength. In his private journal, Meditations, he wrote to himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He woke before dawn every single day. He trained his body not because he enjoyed it, but because he understood that comfort was the enemy of strength. He deliberately sought physical discomfort, cold exposure, fasting, long marches, not as punishment, but as training for the mind. For Marcus Aurelius, every hard workout was a philosophical practice. Every rep was a meditation. Every moment of wanting to quit was an opportunity to build mental fortitude. The next time you want to skip the gym, ask yourself, what would the emperor do? He showed up every single day, not because he felt like it, but because he understood that discipline is not a feeling, it is a decision. Seneca was one of the wealthiest men in ancient Rome, an advisor to emperors, a playwright, philosopher, and writer whose words have survived 2,000 years. And yet, Seneca deliberately chose physical hardship. He practiced cold baths in winter. He fasted regularly. He walked long distances when carriages were available. Why? Because Seneca understood that comfort makes you weak. He wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Think about that. The next time you're dreading leg day, the suffering you fear in your mind is always worse than the actual workout. Seneca also warned obsessively about the waste of time. He wrote that most men don't live. They simply exist, drifting from day to day, never pushing themselves, never growing. In the gym, this means one thing: showing up. Not when you feel motivated, not when conditions are perfect. Every single day, because time is the one resource you can never recover. Seneca also had a fascinating view on the body. He believed moderate physical training was essential. but warned against becoming obsessed with the physical at the expense of the mind. He wrote about athletes of his era who spent all their time on their bodies and had nothing to show for their minds. The lesson? Train hard, but train with purpose. Physical strength in service of mental and moral strength. Of all the Stoic philosophers, none understood physical hardship better than Epictetus. Because Epictetus was born a slave, he had no freedom, no possessions, no control over his physical circumstances. His master once broke his leg deliberately to test his reaction. Epictetus simply said, "I told you it would break." No anger, no despair, just acceptance of what he could not control. This is the foundation of Stoic fitness philosophy. Epictetus taught that there are two categories in life: things within your control and things outside your control. Your body, to some extent, falls outside your control. You can get injured. You can get sick. You can have bad days, but your response, always within your control. In the gym, this is revolutionary. You cannot always control your performance. You cannot control whether you hit a personal best today. You cannot control injury or fatigue, but you can control whether you show up. You can control your effort. You can control your attitude. Epictetus trained his students to embrace discomfort deliberately, to voluntarily seek hardship so that when real hardship arrived, they were ready. This is the philosophy behind cold showers, fasted training, and pushing through when every muscle screams to stop. Not masochism, preparation, building a mind so strong that no physical challenge can break it. Here's something most people don't know about Plato. He was a serious athlete. In fact, his very name, Plato, is believed to mean broad shoulders in Greek, given to him by his wrestling coach because of his powerful physique. Before he became the most influential philosopher in Western history, Plato competed in wrestling at the Isthmian Games, one of the four great Pan-Hellenic athletic festivals of ancient Greece, second only to the Olympics. Plato trained at the gymnasium, not as a hobby, but as a fundamental practice of education and character development. He believed the gymnasium, the place of physical training, was inseparable from the academy, the place of intellectual development. In his work, The Republic, Plato argued that physical training and philosophical education must go together. A person who neglected their body, he believed, produced a weak mind. A person who neglected their mind produced a weak character. For Plato, the ideal human being was both physically strong and intellectually developed. The ancient Greeks called this kalos, kagathos, beautiful and good, a harmony of body and mind. This is the Stoic athlete philosophy in its purest form. We don't train just for aesthetics. We train because physical discipline builds mental clarity, character, and virtue. Socrates, the father of Western philosophy, had a fascinating relationship with physical strength. He was famously described as physically unattractive, short, stocky, with a flat nose and bulging eyes. not the ideal Greek physique, and yet Socrates trained consistently throughout his life. He was known for his physical endurance, his ability to go without food or sleep, and his extraordinary tolerance for cold. Fellow soldiers in the Athenian army described him marching barefoot through snow while others wore boots. But here is what makes Socrates truly remarkable in the context of physical training. He believed that neglecting your body was a moral failure. He said, "No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable." Read that again. Socrates said, "It is a shame to grow old without discovering what your body is truly capable of." This is not vanity. This is not aesthetics. This is a moral obligation to yourself, to push your limits, to find out who you really are under pressure, to discover the strength hiding inside you. So what can we take from all of this? Marcus Aurelius teaches us that discipline is a decision, not a feeling. Show up anyway. Seneca teaches us that we suffer more in imagination than reality. The workout is never as bad as the dread before it. Epictetus teaches us to control what we can control: effort, attitude, consistency, and release everything else. Plato teaches us that body and mind are one. Train both, neglect neither. And Socrates reminds us that discovering the full potential of your body is not vanity. It is a moral obligation to yourself. These men lived over 2,000 years ago. They had no protein shakes, no gym memberships, no performance trackers. They had philosophy, and it was enough to forge some of the greatest minds and bodies in human history. The question is, what's your excuse? This is Stoic Athlete. Train your body. Master your mind. Live like a Stoic. If this video spoke to you, subscribe and join the Stoic Athlete community. New videos every week. The ancient philosophers are waiting.